If you're anything like me, you love them used GPU deals. And one night I was browsing eBay when I saw this GTX 1660 for £112. And to be fair, this surprised me as they usually go for around £130 here in the UK. So I thought, why not? Let's just buy it. And I've also taken a gamble on a few other GPUs as well, so make sure you stay subscribed for them because they will be benchmarked soon here on the channel. So this is the GTX 1660, which I paid £112 for, plus the £5 shipping too. It's the Gigabyte OC model, and this model is actually a pretty cool looking model. I like how it looks. The GTX 1660 released back in 2019 for a retail price of $219 US. And it was targeted to a lot of gamers who wanted to play games at 1080p, and it was also quite popular with streamers as well because it featured Nvidia's new at the time Turing encoder. And this was a massive upgrade over the Pascal's NVENC encoder, and it enabled for much better quality when using Nvidia's NVENC engine. It features 1408 CUDA cores, 6GB of GDDR5 memory, running through a 192-bit bus. So for 1080p, this GPU, pretty good. And as I said, it features Nvidia's Turing encoder too. And this model is the Gigabyte OC model, and I think it looks really good. I like the design that Gigabyte were going for around this generation, and to be fair, they stay pretty cool too. This one only reached the mid-60s when gaming, so yeah, that's not bad at all. It even has a backplate on it as well, even though it is plastic, so it serves no functional purpose. It does up the aesthetics quite a bit and the overall presentation of the graphics card, I'd like to say. But I wish it was metal. Then again, you can't really moan too much at this price point. It also has one 8-pin PCIe power connector, and Nvidia recommend at least a 300 watt PSU to power this thing, so it is actually incredibly efficient. All testing today is done on my test bench, which is actually an open air test bench now. But the specs are a Ryzen 5 5600G, 16GB of CL16 3200MHz memory, a 1TB NVMe Gen 3 SSD, and an Acer Strix B550-F gaming. All testing today is done at 1080p, as I think this is the best resolution for this graphics card, even though it could possibly get away with 1440p in some titles. First up today is Unigine Superposition, and in the 1080p medium benchmark it got 10,225, which is pretty respectable. Up first today is Cyberpunk 2077, and this is a game I used to hate, mainly because I pre-ordered it and I was playing on my 1080 Ti, but now they've actually fixed the game and it doesn't run too bad. But here on the 1660, on the medium preset with high textures enabled, as that 6GB of VRAM does allow for it, it got 59 FPS on average and 49 FPS for the 1% low. The game does look pretty good on the medium preset, and it performs pretty good too. Performance here is also a tiny bit better than the 2600X, but a lot of it could be down to margin of error and stuff like that. Next up is F122, and on the high preset in my average wet Australian benchmark, it got 114 FPS on average with 83 FPS for the 1% low. There was a bit of dips in this game, but it's nothing too big, and if you lower it down to the medium preset, you should be getting around 140 FPS. At 1080p on this graphics card, that's not too bad. Performance in F1 is always pretty good. God of War is up next, and I've set it to the original preset, which is, I believe, the original PS4's preset, but it's kind of like medium on PC. But this got 74 FPS on average with 57 FPS for the 1% low, which is not bad performance at all here. You might be able to get away with raising some settings like textures and stuff like that, and you'll be getting around 60 FPS if you increase stuff like shadows or lighting perhaps. So yeah, not bad performance here, and it looks really good too. Forza Horizon 5 is up next, and on relatively modern hardware, it's optimised pretty well. And on the high preset here, the 1660 got 87 FPS on average with 74 FPS for the 1% low. TAA was enabled for the anti-aliasing as well, just to soften up them jagged lines a bit. So Forza Horizon 5 looks good, performs really good, and you'll be having a great time on this GPU. Horizon Zero Dawn is up next, and we set it to the high preset here, so a bit better than the original. And in the in-game benchmark, the 1660 got 74 FPS on average with 55 FPS for the 1% low. I am playing through this game on my 3080 PC at the minute, and it does look incredible on max settings, so maybe if you want a bit more of a cinematic experience, You could set it to the max, sacrifice a few frames, but the game would be looking amazing. But I'd recommend playing at the high preset. Fortnite is up next, and I set it to the medium here as I thought this would give pretty much the best balance for quality and performance. And to be fair, this preset performs pretty well, with 145 FPS on average and 80 FPS for the 1% low. On DirectX 11, which I think is the best API for this graphics card, you don't need to use performance, and DirectX 12 can be a bit of a mess on these older GPUs. When I say older, it's 2019, but yeah. So Fortnite performs really well, no issues here at all, a bit of stutter with the 1% low, but Fortnite's one of them games where it's just terrible with the caching of the shaders, so yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. GTA 5 is that one game I always benchmark, and it is in the benchmarks today. I set it to the very high preset with 2x MSAA for both the reflections and the anti-aliasing with no advanced settings as well. This got 98 FPS on average with 71 FPS for the 1% low. GTA, as always, performs really well. Nothing more needs to be said, to be fair, so if you want to play something like a 5M server, you'll be having fun on this. I tested Assassin's Creed Valhalla at 2 quality settings here, and starting off with the high preset, it got 50 FPS on average with a 1% low of 38 FPS. This is not terrible performance at all, and the game does look pretty good on the high preset, but this is what I'd recommend, switching it to the medium preset, because on the medium preset it got 64 FPS on average with 50 FPS for the 1% low, so performance is a lot more stable, and I think you should choose the medium preset with this game and maybe just raise the textures to high, so you'd lose pretty much no graphical fidelity really going from medium to high, maybe a bit if you pixel peep, but if you keep the textures on high, you wouldn't really know if you're playing the game, so yeah, this is what I recommend, the medium preset. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022 is up next, and on the balanced preset with high textures, which just saves a bit of them muddy textures, because if you lower the textures in this game, the game does look very bad and muddy, but with the 6 gigs of VRAM, high textures is more than feasible. This got 68 FPS on average with 42 FPS for the 1% low in the in-game benchmark, and I think this isn't bad performance at all really. You could switch down to the minimum if you want slightly more frame rate, but the textures, they don't really lower the frame rate as long as you've got the VRAM required, and 6 gigs of VRAM at 1080p is totally fine. Another shooter is up next, and that is Rainbow Six Siege, and I set it to the very high preset here, which is probably not recommended. I'd probably recommend something around medium for a shooter like Siege. But this got 177 FPS on average with 142 FPS on average. And one thing I've noticed on this game is when I'm testing it, I've got the sort of the frame time graph, and the line was pretty much arrow straight for most of the benchmark. So this means that the frame consistency is really good, especially paired with the 5600G. So Siege performs really well. If you want to lower them settings, go for it, you'll be having a great time. The Witcher 3 is up next, and it got enhanced recently, and I did make a video on it, and I was kind of disappointed with some of the optimizations with it, but nevertheless I set it to the high preset here with the 1660, and this got 68 FPS on average with 51 FPS for that 1% low. This was done in the Novigrad like sort of town square, and I think this is sort of a worst case scenario for the game, as this is where most of the stuff is going on. So yeah, that'll be all the benchmarks for today. The GTX 1660 is a card that pleasantly surprised me. In pretty much every single game it performed very well, and at this price point, if I paid £112 for a graphics card to put in my full-time gaming rig, if I kept my expectations in line, I think I'd be having a very good gaming experience. And if I'm honest, I totally forgot that the GTX 1660 actually existed, because it is pretty much overshadowed by the 1660 Super, which is essentially the same GPU but with GDDR6 memory instead of GDDR5. And I used to have a 1660 Ti, which has slightly a few more cores unlocked, and I think maybe a bigger memory bus on it as well, and GDDR6 memory. But moving back to the 1660, I think it has plenty of life left in it. Look at games like Cyberpunk. On the medium preset with high textures, it ran totally fine. If you enable something like FSR quality, you won't be losing that much of visual fidelity, and you'll be getting a lot more frames too. But the choice is down to you at the end of the day. So the 1660 will perform well no matter if you're playing a AAA game or an esports title. This GPU has you covered, especially when you're playing an esports title as well. You can stream that with its great Turing encoder too, so maybe you can kickstart a streaming career with this thing. If you're building a gaming rig around a 1660, I'd recommend a CPU like the Ryzen 5 3600 or maybe something 10th gen and up on Intel. However, I have paired this with a 2600X in a gaming PC I built, which I made a video on up either there or there, and the 2600X didn't really hold it back in any title at all, maybe a bit in Cyberpunk, or even if you've got something like a 4th gen Intel Core i7, maybe something like a 4690K, something like that, that shouldn't really be holding back a 1660 either, as long as you've got obviously your dual channel memory and stuff like that. So yeah, this GPU can pretty much pair well with any system that was built within the past 9-8 years, I would like to say. As long as it isn't AMD FX, we don't talk about AMD FX here. So do I recommend buying the GTX 1660 in 2023? And the answer to that is, it depends. At £130, I don't think it's a great deal, as I have seen GTX 1080s go for that much. Albeit they do use a lot more power, but they are around, I think, 25 to 30% more powerful. And I do have a GTX 1080 on the way, so make sure you stay subscribed for that, because that will be benchmarked here on the channel. But if you can find a GTX 1660 between £100 and £115, I'd like to say, I think that is a pretty good price for this graphics card, and you'll be having a great experience and great value playing at 1080p with this GPU. With all that being said, I'm going to leave the video here. So if you like the video, like it, stay subscribed for more GPU benchmarks, because I have a ton on the way, and I'll catch you in the next one.